Okay, welcome to part 5. We've got a game and we can shoot each other and we can score points. But what we want to do is when someone gets to 10 points, we want to end the game. Now we're going to do this um, and it's going to be the responsibility of the game container. When it's doing the scoring, it can check to see what the best score is. And if the best score gets to 10, that's what we'll do. Um, we'll broadcast a message saying the game's been won. Everyone pack it in. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to go to our start off and let's set the type for our message that we're going to broadcast. So I'm going to copy and paste the last one and I'm just going to change the name to game 1. So that's a message type of game 1. Okay. So that's our first little step. Now in the game container for handle scoring, what we're going to do is we'll just do a little test. We'll say if score P1 equals 10 or score P2 equals 10. Remember, you have to test two conditions and then join them together with a logical operator like OR. So if that's true, then what we want to say is, okay, the game's been won. Now, I could put all the code here, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to create a method. And I'm going to say game has ended. That's what I'm going to call the method. I'm trying to keep my code a little bit tidier. Okay, so I'm going to generate that method and I'm going to put some code in for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unsubscribe. I do not want any more player has been hit messages. Okay, so I'm going to say message bus dot instance dot unsubscribe. So I don't want to listen to these messages anymore, and I don't want anyone to be listening. So I'm going to say anyone who subscribes to player hit, get rid of them. So that will stop the players detecting that they've been hit as well. Okay, so essentially disables scoring completely. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a message to say that the game's been won. So we'll do exactly what we did when we did the bullet message. We're just going to use M. So say create a new message called M. I don't need to set anything other than the type for this. So I'm going to say it's going to be a type of extra messages dot what was it, game 1. I don't need to set any data. There's no information needs to be broadcast, just the type of message. So I'm just going to say message.instance message bus.instance.broadcast message and broadcast message M. Okay. So that gives information out to those the only people that need to know about the actor. We'll get onto that in a sec. Right, so once the game's been won, what we want to do is put a congratulations and say, ah, well done, player 1. Okay, and then probably we'll go back to the title screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a string to hold the message we want to display on screen. I'm going to call it winner, and I'm going to put in some pretext. So I'm going to say game won by. I'm going to put a couple of tildes, and remember that's line breaks in the text drawing system. And then I'm going to find out who won. So I'm going to say if score P1 is 10, then player 1 has won. So I'm going to say winner plus equals, so that's concatenation. So whatever's in winner, we're going to add to it. So we're going to say, hey, it was player 1, they won. If player 1 didn't get 10, then the only way that we've got to game ended is player 2 must have. So we can say else winner plus equals player 2. Oop. Okay, so that sets up the text we want for the message. So we'll just keep going down in this game has ended and we'll display the message. Now, normally when we draw text, we have to draw it every single frame. Okay, but if we want text to just stay on screen, we can draw it and have it turned into sprites by the text manager. Okay, so we only have to draw it once, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate now. So I'm going to say gm.textManager and I'm going to say draw. Draw's the one I used last time, but I'm going to use draw as sprites. I'm going to pick my font. Now I've been using Gradius font, so I'm going to keep going with that. And then the text I want to display, so let me just change that, is called winner. Right, we need to say what position it is. So this is going to get quite long, so I'm going to put this onto the next line down. That was just some bits of paper falling off my desk for some unknown reason. I don't know whether you heard that on the microphone. You probably didn't, so you don't know what I'm rambling on about. I've got a shelf above my desk and some stuff just fallen off. Probably a spider pushing it off or something. It's what they're like. Once you know spiders, that's what they're like. They push things off. That's what I find anyway. Right, anyway, so we've said the font. The next piece of information, if you look at the highlighted parameter, it's X, the X position. I'm going to stick it in the center of the screen. So I'm going to say screen size dot center dot X. And I want it dead center of the screen. So the Y position, I'm going to say gm.screensize.center.y. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next line. So I'm going to put a comma. We're going to put our text attribute on. So I want it centered. So I'm going to use centered as my text attribute. Okay, it then asks me for a Z position. Right, when we're drawing sprites, sprites have got a 2D position, so an X and a Y location, but they've also got a Z position. And in general, this is used by the graphics card to decide what order the sprite should be drawn. Okay, now the Z position can go right back to minus 50,000 or plus 50,000. The bigger and more positive the number, the later it is drawn. So I just want this to appear above any other sprite. So I'm just going to put 4,000 as the Z position. And then it wants to know about some sprite attributes. Well, I'm not going to worry about that in this video. We're just going to put null. We don't want any sprite attributes. Okay, so I've broken it over a few lines. Remember, the reason we've done that is to make it more readable. So I don't have to scroll left and right, because that's horrible when you're programming. So that's going to display the winner message. And then the last thing we need to do is ask the event manager to call another subroutine in 5 seconds time. Now, this is something I cleverly did in a previous video. We have got a subroutine called back to title, which will go back to the title screen. So I'm going to just say go back to the title screen in 5 seconds. Okay, so that's everything we need to set up in the game container. So let's just recap what we did. We went into our scoring method, handle scoring, and we said, right, okay, has anyone made it to 10? If they have, let's run game ended or game as ended method. And that's here. So we created that. We kill any subscriptions to players being hit. So we like sort of end the collision system or the scoring system. Then what we do is we broadcast a message saying the game's been won. And we'll come back to that in a second. We then work out who's won, put a message on screen, and then say leave it on screen for 5 seconds and then go back to the title screen, which clears everything off. Okay, so the only final thing we need to do is we need to get the actor to subscribe to this game won message so that we can't keep controlling it. I don't want the player to be moving around on screen. So we're going to go back to actor. We're going to go to the constructor. And remember, the constructor is the one that starts public and then just has the name of the class. So at the bottom, where I've already got a subscription for hits, what I'm going to put in there is a subscription for game 1. Okay, in exactly the same way. So I'm just going to say messagebus.instance.subscribe, and we say extra message types.game1. So subscribe to that. We need to run a method when that message comes in, so we're going to call it ended. It doesn't sound right, but I'll run with it. So right click over that and say generate method. So this method gets called whenever a message is broadcast of type game1. Now we don't need to read the message, there's nothing in the message, but all I want to do is I want to unsubscribe from that message. So I'm going to say message bus.instance.subscribe. unsubscribe, and I'm going to show you a different unsubscription method. There's 4 of them. If you just do that, all messages are destroyed. But the one I'm going to do is this one. So I'm going to say, right, I want to unsubscribe from game 1 messages. What I want to unsubscribe is this message handler called ended. So it just removes this one instance here for this particular actor. It just removes that method. Okay, so anyone else who's subscribed to game 1, they'd still be active. Okay, so I'm just making it the responsibility of the actor to do that. So the next thing we'll do, I'm going to disable collision detection just in case there's any bullets flying around. And to stop anyone controlling it, I'm just going to say on update equals null. So I'm saying don't call any methods when the game's ended. Okay, so that was just a couple of steps just to do logging of the game ended. So let's run it and see what happens, and I'll shoot one of the other players in the head 10 times to see. Right, so I'm going to try and do it in red. Cam studio doesn't help with the jerking. Right, I'm in position, I can't possibly miss. Right, so that's 1. I'm just going to keep tapping away. 2. Remember, I've got 3 seconds before they're hittable again, which gives them time to get out of the way, because he could be cheeky and go, woo, look, I've gone. And I'm going to move him back into the firing line. So I'm up to 6, 7. Oh, nearly there, nearly there. Game is nearly won. 9. This time. Bang. Game won by player 1. Hopefully, goes back to title screen. Then I can start again. And because I initialize the score variables, they go back to 0. So just double check. Let's get revenge for player 2. So I'm just going to keep pressing that until we get up to 10. So it's going to take me a few seconds. Nearly there, nearly there. 8. Come on. 2 more hits, 2 more hits. There you go. Got to 10. Game won by player 2. Should go back to title screen now. There you go. Okay, so that's the end of part 5. There are a few more things we can add to this game. We can add some obstacles, so we can create like a little layout of a map. And we can do that loads of different ways. And I'll probably show you it using sprites. But you can do it with tile maps. But I don't want to put any complications on this. I'm just taking you through the logic of doing it. What we can do though is we can have some artificial intelligent enemies. So we can have some drone actors, and we'll definitely do that just to make it a little bit so they'll track players and things like that, and take you out without you getting any scores. But what we might do is we might reduce your score every time you get hit by a drone. That'd be quite interesting. Okay, right, that's it. Thank you very much.